Does running a business ever get easier? I've seen a few posts lately of people asking this type of question because they're up against the wall and trying to figure stuff out. And this ranges from people who are starting new businesses or been going for a couple of years up into big businesses with a few shocks that have happened, especially with the US tariffs at the moment, would be the latest one. And so I wanted to take this video to dive into this kind of problem and break it down into your business growth into about 3 stages. So I've been involved with companies going from 0 to $1 million, and the biggest one I've run is about an $8 million business. And so there's a lot of I see a few steps in between, and I just want to talk to those today, and hopefully that will give you some reassurance that it never gets easier, it gets different. You have different challenges at different stages of the game. So the first part is when you're starting out and you're trying to grow your business, it's all about basically you wearing all the hats. And so the difference that we see between being an employee and being a business owner, and especially a startup one, is everything relies on you. When you're an employee and you go and work in a company, you have leverage because you're working in a very specific role in the company, and they've built a whole organization around you to let you just do that one thing while they leverage your efforts into higher revenue and profits at the end of the day. When you start your own business, suddenly you're wearing all the hats. So if you think about your normal organizational structure, you've got your CEO at the top, Chief Operations Officer, so CEO, vision, direction of the company, COO, controlling what actually happens in the company. So they're the organized person and the CEO is the dreamer, and you're wearing both those hats at the same time, which is interesting. You've got the sales and marketing department, you've got the operations department that actually builds the product, manufactures it, or provides the service, and the finance department. And sub that you'd have inside the finance department, HR and IT, until you get big enough to split these things out. And so you're literally wearing all of those hats in the beginning, and you're running from one department to the other, putting on the hat. So in let's say a 40-hour week, although you're probably working more than that, you're switching hats from, today I need to market the business, and now I have to do a sales call over here, and now I need to go and get some more product organized or manufactured or deliver a service. This week I'm doing all my taxes and making sure that I'm not running out of money, and you're juggling all those different things. And that's why it is so difficult. Basically, to get out of this stage, we're looking for enough money to get you an income as well. And that's the challenge of the first stage business, is basically you've given up this job and you're like, I used to get this salary and now I work for a business and my own business and I make less money. This isn't very fun. And so your challenge is, let's get up to that level of income that replaces your salary and hopefully a little bit above that, which will get you to stage 2. And so you're just going to be playing that juggling act the whole time. And as long as you're aware of those different hats that you need to wear and what work you need to do in those different areas, what's the biggest constraint in your sales and marketing, in your operations, in your finance, then you can work through those issues as you go. So we move on to phase 2, all right? This is where we start hiring employees. Some people do freelancers and that kind of thing. I built up an agency based solely on freelancers, working basically almost full-time or consistently with me anyway, but also with businesses with full-time employees. And it's the same thing, you're responsible for those people getting paid now. And so it changes the dimensions a lot. And so I think the challenge you face in this phase is really the pressure. Now you're not just trying to make enough income for yourself to eat, you need to be able to pay your team. And those paychecks go out whenever they go, every month or whatever. And so you've got to have enough money coming in. So you feel a lot of pressure in terms of being able to bring in the sales and marketing, do that department to bring in enough people so then you can do operations, and you're filling other people in those roles. So they might put on a certain hat, but you're still responsible at the end of the day for everyone getting paid. And so you just go through a period of immense pressure of, this all relies on me and I just can't hand the buck off to someone else. I've tried in the past, and you hire, here's the fancy sales manager, and you hire them and you rely on them and they don't deliver, and then it's still your problem. Like, you can't just outsource the problem and be like, whoa, okay. Like, you end up getting rid of them and stop working with them, but that doesn't solve the problem that you've still got to solve, and it still comes down to your head. So I think pressure is phase 2, and it's better because you have, and your life is a little bit back to normal, but the stress that comes with it depends how you deal with that, and that's working through that process. And you've got to learn to move from being like a technical person actually doing the work up into a managerial level where you're overseeing what people are doing. So if you're not doing the delivery of the product yourself or the manufacturing, you're overseeing the people that are doing it and making sure that they're doing the right things or delivering the right service. The answer to kind of that phase 2 part is stability in my mind. So when you have enough money that you've now filled all the hats in all those departments and revenues coming in, you've got this feeling of stability where, okay, the sales and marketing are doing enough to bring in enough clients or customers, so we have enough cash flow coming in. Operations is running smoothly, we've got enough, we know how to make our product, we can deliver it all the time, and finance is fine. We're still going to be in this juggle of getting sales and then delivering it and cash flow and things. It'll be a bit tight, but we're not stressed out about it. And in that stability phase, you start to build, hopefully, once you've got your team in place, a bit of a buffer that helps you deal with stage 3. Stage 3 is surprises, is what I like to think of it. So every business, once you get to that stability level, you are faced with surprises, and these challenges can come out of left field. They often have nothing to do with what you did wrong. It can come from external places all the time. So we see that at the moment with the US trade tariffs coming into play, that's affecting businesses in Canada, in the US, in Mexico, in China, and it's the decision of one person who's gone and decided to do this thing, and now everyone's trying to rush around and deal with the issues that it's going to create in businesses around the world. So it's affecting literally millions of people and their livelihoods. That's a surprise that you just can't deal with or necessarily have a plan with, because then you'd have a plan for every little contingency. If you look at COVID coming along, if you had a store where people had to come into the store and suddenly you're all in lockdown and people can't visit a store, that changes your business dramatically. But that doesn't mean that, as a contingency plan, I needed to go and build out my online presence 10 years before that as well. It helps, but let's be realistic, we can't do everything. This means trying to work through this part of the business is being prepared for surprises, right? And there's other little ones as well, like I've had clients or people I've worked with, and they've had all the ads coming from Facebook, like clients coming from Facebook ads, and then Facebook, someone makes a mistake and ticks the wrong box and shuts down their account for no reason. Same with Google ads, banned from search engines, all these things, and the business owners actually weren't doing anything dodgy. It's just someone clicks the wrong button and things go horribly wrong. I was talking to someone the other day, and one of our clients, and someone made a mistake in a spreadsheet, and that delayed the launch of their product in a nationwide chain of stores for 3 months. That's a mistake that it's not your fault, but you've got to deal with it. And so this is the surprises phase. And you never really leave the surprises phase. It's like that. Like the businesses that are doing $100 million a year are still affected by the trade tariffs. There's nothing they can do to control that. And so preparation is the answer to it, and there's only so much you can be prepared because you don't know what's going to come at you from left field all the time. But having the cash flow and the resources and the working capital saved up in your business, so that's the money that you put aside so you can pay for extra things, allows you to ride those waves more comfortably. So I don't know if I'm misquoting this, but Bill Gates was famous for having like 6 months of working capital in his business, so he could literally make no income for 6 months and everyone would still get paid, and that was when the business was a very significant size. Apple's known for having huge cash reserves as well. Berkshire Hathaway with Warren Buffett has a lot of money put aside looking for investment opportunities as well, but that also gives a buffer in case anything goes wrong. I think I've experienced businesses where people take too much money out. We're making money now, let's put it all into my pocket and put it in other places. and then aren't willing to take it out of the pocket and put it back in the business to save the problems that it's facing. That's the business owner's choice, but you also create more pressure for yourself in terms of dealing with the surprises that comes up, and then it means your business isn't able to weather the storms that are naturally going to come. Economies are cyclical, they go up and everything goes well and people get all excited and they hire a whole bunch of people, and then economies go back down again. This is just history. It happens over and over again. The economy never just goes up and up and up and the market's great and everyone keeps buying. We always go up and down. So in the up times, if you're not preparing for the downtime, then you're going to be surprised, and there's a certain amount of, well, you should have seen that coming. You might not know the way it's going to hit you, but having the preparation in place and the money put aside. So the preparation often means having cash in the bank or investments so they're still performing and making money, but you've got access to money that you can actually bring in to weather the storm, because the storms are going to come. Like, things are going to go wrong. You're going to be in businesses, you lose a major retail partner, suddenly you drop from all their stores because someone's made a different decision, or their business isn't going well, their business gets sold to someone else. A whole bunch of stuff can happen that's completely out of your control, and so if you're not prepared for it, bad things start to happen and they can mount up, especially if you get surprise, and they stack themselves up. So basically business never gets easier. That's why business owners or people who run companies get paid a lot of money to do it. There's a lot of stress involved. I think as you go through this journey, you get more used to dealing with stress. I was asked the other day, how do I deal with a whole bunch of things going wrong? I managed to break my arm and a bunch of other things go wrong in December, and then it's just, you just do it because you're used to it, and you built up this tolerance of dealing with pain and things going wrong. It's like, well, this is just normal, right? This is Monday, right? What's the big deal? And you figure out a plan and then you resolve it and you work through it. I think it gets easier in terms of your ability to handle the size of the problems. I think we're always stretching to that next level. It is a lot easier when you're running a bigger business that has that stability in it, providing you can actually get people to prepare for the surprises that are naturally going to happen and that you can't avoid. And it gets easier from that point of view. Your cash flow gets smoother and life does get better, and it does pay off in the end. I don't suggest everyone just goes and becomes an employee. I say start a business. If you really have to start a business and you must be an entrepreneur, like you don't fit in the normal world, and you must do the work that you are called to do or the product that you need to do, you have to go do it. There's no choice. But if you want to start a business just because you think you're going to make a whole bunch of money and it's going to be really easy, then just go get a job and live below your means and put that money into investments and watch that grow instead, because it will be a lot easier than trying to go through business ownership. You've got to really want it if you want to play this game, because you've got millions of people waking up around the world who are trying to get the same customers that you're trying to get, trying to make better products, trying to do better sales and marketing, competing with you every day. You're playing the biggest game in the world. So you've got to really want to play the game. You can't just play it with one toe in and hope it's all going to be easy and the lazy way to riches. Hope all that makes sense, and those three phases help. Remember, you're going to go from being stressed out in the beginning because you're wearing all the hats and you want to just get yourself an income. Then you're going to move to the phase where you get pressure because you've got to hire people and build out your team and that kind of thing, and you want to get to this place of stability to get through that phase. And then the third phase is the surprise phase, where things are going to hit you from left field no matter how big your business is, and you've just got to be prepared in terms of usually having the money to be able to deal with problems that you don't expect to happen. That's naturally going to happen. All right, thanks for watching.